This is beautiful Lauren Johansen from the Biloxi Gulfport, Mississippi area. She was a nursing student at the University of Southern Mississippi, and the story that I'm about to tell you comes directly from her father, Mr. Lance Johansen, who's an orthopedic surgeon, and unfortunately, on July 3rd, he was able to locate his daughter's vehicle with her mutilated body in the backseat before law enforcement did. Now, according to Mr. Lance, Lauren had been in an abusive relationship with a man named Bryson Rivers. The family had tried to separate Bryson and Lauren several times, but Bryson was always able to weasel his way back in like abusers do. In December of 2023, they went on vacation together in Nashville, Tennessee. And while there, Lauren called her family and said that she was being held hostage in a vehicle after Bryson had severely abused her. When the police arrived and located the vehicle, Lauren was found beating on the inside of the car, asking to be released, and Bryson was located in the front seat, reaching for a pew-pew at the time that he was arrested. We can only imagine that the blood on his face is from Lauren because he was reported to have no injuries at the time of his arrest. Mr. Lance drove up to Nashville and sat in the courtroom and begged the judge to make sure that Bryson was not releasable because if he got out, he was going to unalive his daughter. The bond was set at $250,000, which Bryson was not able to post, and he sat in jail until the last Friday of June, when he was able to have a bond reduction hearing, and a judge did lower his bond to $150,000, which he was able to post, and he was released. As part of an agreement with Rivers' defense attorney, Mr. Lance Johansen had a deal that the family was to be contacted if there was any changes to Rivers' status, and that he was supposed to be fitted with a GPS ankle monitor, but that did not happen. The following Monday, July 1st, Mr. Lance received a voicemail from the Davidson County District Attorney's Office, and I'm going to read that voicemail to you verbatim. This is Bailey calling from the District Attorney's Office in Nashville. Bryson Rivers was released from custody. He was supposed to report straight to a GPS company and be put on a GPS monitor, and he was not to leave Davidson County. But as soon as he was released, he did not report to that GPS monitoring company. He has not been heard from, and I just want to make sure that Lauren is safe. At this point, he had been out for the whole weekend and a day. Of course, immediately Lance calls his daughter. This is Monday, July 1st. She doesn't answer. He does get a text back from her, but he said it didn't sound like the way that she would normally text. Fast forward to 4 a.m. the next morning. This is Tuesday, July 2nd. He gets a notification on his phone that Lauren's Life 360 app has been turned off. Shortly after that, he gets a phone call from Lauren's younger sister who lives with her. They are roommates, and she says Lauren is not home. The front door is standing wide open, and their security camera system has been destroyed. He calls the Hattiesburg, Mississippi Police Department. He tells them the backstory. He files a missing person report. And then on Wednesday morning, he heads up to Hattiesburg. He wants to see what the police have done. Have they been able to GPS track her vehicle? And he unfortunately finds out that there was no work done to Lauren's case for a whole day. Per Mr. Lance, and I quote, "When I got there in the morning, I called to see what the Hattiesburg police had found overnight. There was no communication. They didn't do anything. We assumed they were going to track the vehicle and try to find her, but they never did. Not until Wednesday at 3 o'clock when I insisted that they find out where the car was." The police tracked Lauren's vehicle, which was fitted with OnStar, and Dad paid for the service because he knew the danger that his daughter was in, being in a relationship with a history like she had with Mr. Bryson. And they were able to find the car in Harrison County. When they called Mr. Johansen, and I quote, he said, "I knew she was dead." OnStar gave the location of the vehicle to Mr. Lance, and he said, "When we got there, her car was in the middle of a cemetery, and she was in the back of the car wrapped in sheets and trash bags. She was basically beaten to death. Her face was smashed in, her head was smashed in. She was brutally beaten to the point that she couldn't see out of either of her eyes when she finally died, and there was multiple holes in her head. I helped the coroner lift her body out of the car. It was just mutilated." Thankfully, after only 5 days of being out, he was located and has been rearrested. He hopefully will have no bond this time, but we will see what Mississippi does compared to Tennessee. He is being held on a murder charge.